Okay. Um, so this is a project proposal for habitat restoration of a very neglected area of Jersey City, as well as potentially other nearby municipalities in the future. Um, the area I'm referring to is the Palisade Cliffs, although people usually don't think of Jersey City when they hear that name. This photo here is taken of the Palisade Cliffs, close to Jersey City from a parking lot of the Troy Towers in Union City. That tree line you see there is the Palisade Cliffs, the same ones that have great hiking trails north of the George Washington Bridge. Although this tree line may look nice from a distance, this part of the Palisade Cliffs has been very neglected with trash and invasive plant issues I'll get into in a little bit. I'm sure I don't have to explain this to this group, but the reason for doing habitat restoration in neglected urban areas has tons of benefits, from climate resilience, like reducing flooding and improving heat and air quality issues, to other benefits like improving mental health by getting people more in touch with nature, which is desperately needed in dense cities. So before I get into the project, I just want to give ba some of my background. I've been living in Jersey City Heights since 2012. I work in tech and I like living in the city, but I also have a strong passion for nature. I've taken some courses on urban gardening and tree care from the New York Botanical Garden and Rutgers, respectively. I've also worked part-time as an agricultural worker on a farm. Since I've been in Jersey City, I've been working on ways to promote green spaces through volunteering efforts with the Environmental Commission, the Shade Tree Committee, which helped update the forestry standards to improve the city's tree canopy. I've been involved with 4-H and the Riverview Community Garden for many years, where I teach all aspects of urban farming. Some other notable projects I've done, I was involved with the 2021 NOAA-sponsored heat study of the Gateway region of New Jersey, like Jersey City, Newark, Elizabeth, and Upper NYC, Bronx, and Upper Manhattan. This study was to identify urban heat islands in those areas. The data we collected now lives on the federal government's heat.gov website. I've run some workshops in 2024 in several Adopt a Lot community gardens in Jersey City on how to build raised beds to avoid exposure to contaminants in the soil. I've helped a research group called MRRI build an artificial nesting island in the Meadowlands for an endangered species called least terns, which is a migratory seabird. And I also help maintain a email alert system called Water Duty that lets tree stewards in the New York City area know when supplemental watering is needed for young trees to give them a better chance of survival. This alerting system also works well as a reminder for when to water your garden. So, as you can see, I've kept myself pretty busy with all these projects and volunteering and classes, but it's really helped me gain a lot of knowledge about nature and how ecosystems work, as well as the challenges they face in urban areas. So, all this time I've been doing this stuff, I've been observing nature on the Palisade Cliffs since they're so close to where I live. And through all these experiences I've had, I see these cliffs in a lot different way than I did when I first moved here, and realize there's so much improvement that can be made to them, like the many other parts of the city that people are already working on. So now that I've given you some background about me, I wanted to now start talking about the Palisade Cliffs themselves. First, I always like to go through some history. So the history of the cliff started 200 million years ago, which is pretty cool. It broke apart from Pangea, and magma rose and cooled, forming a sill of hard diabase beneath the overlying layers of softer rock. And about 11,000 years ago, the glaciers of the Ice Age helped shape the eastern edge of the sill into the cliffs we see today, scouring away the loose rock around them. At the end of the Ice Age, the Lenape people who inhabited the area called them Weehawken, which means rocks that look like trees. And as you can see, that's how we got the name Weehawken from, the town nearby Jersey City. Um, During the late 1600s, colonists started calling the cliffs the Palisades because they closely resembled the defensive wooden stake walls, which they call palisades, built around forts at the time. Um, the image on the left is one of the earliest images of the Palisade Cliffs in Jersey City I could find. It's a postcard from the early 1900s. It's not a photograph, it's illustrated. On the right is a Google Street View from roughly the same location. This is directly below Riverview Park on Patterson Plank Road, looking down towards Hoboken. As you can see, it's much different now, but also a much better natural area too. In the past, it seemed to be a manicured, grassy area with no trees. Now it is much more wild, which I would argue is a good thing. However, that's not to say there isn't still room for improvement on what we currently have. So there's been a rich history of conservation on the Palisade Cliffs as well. The Palisade Cliffs were nearly destroyed by quarrying in the 1800s. A large section of the cliffs were blasted for construction stone, and this prompted widespread concern about losing the iconic landscape. Um, a grassroots conservation campaign saved the cliffs, led by the New Jersey State Federation of Women's Clubs. They their work went on to create the Palisade Interstate Park Commission in 1900, and this group actually still exists in New Jersey, which is pretty cool. They have a lot of chapters, just not that many in our area, Knutson County. Um, the Palisades became a pioneering conservation success with support from New Jersey, New York, and donors such as J.P. Morgan. The quarry lands were acquired and protected, creating America's first bi-state park system. And conservation continues today in Bergen and Rockland counties. The same Palisade Interstate Park Commission still exists, manages the land, and there's also the Palisades Nature Association, which manages part of the Palisades called the Brook Sanctuary, which is a very nice place. If you've never been there, I highly recommend it. So, uh, the point I'm getting at is a lot of people think of the Palisades as just the Palisade Interstate Parkway, which is a 12-mile section of the cliff, roughly in the middle of the ridgeline, where the Palisade Sill actually spans more than 40 miles from Staten Island to Haverstraw, New York. As you can see this on this red line here, that's the entire sill. Um, the there's 400 acres of across Hudson and Bergen counties, which I'm starting to coin as the lower Palisades, which is the area that starts about a half-mile south of the George Washington Bridge and goes all the way to Jersey City. This is a vital corridor uh, for wildlife and where very little natural area exists. This area also contributes significantly to the tree canopy in this dense urban area, and there's no environmental management from what I've seen. If you look on a tax map, this area is cut into small private and municipal lots along the cliff. And in Jersey City alone, there's 100 acres. Most of it is in the heights. Um, and then there's also natural areas on the western side of the heights too, near 1 and 9. So although the lower Palisades are neglected, there's still a lot of native wildlife that live there. I'm going to go through some pictures I've taken the last few years. This first one is of some deer. I see them a lot on the cliffs. Um, Here's a fox somewhere in Union City on the cliffs in the winter. And here's a salamander near Ogden's End. Other animals I've observed, I wasn't able to take pictures of. Lots of bats, snakes, many different species of birds, and then native tree species like black walnut and silver maple, and also plants like Virginia creeper. So I'll get into the current issues, the most critical issues I've seen uh, on the lower Palisade Cliffs. The first being they're completely overrun with introduced invasive species. We have like all the major players, the usually that are usually on a list of top invasive species like tree of heaven, kudzu, Japanese knotweed, English ivy, Norway maple. These are the more destructive and difficult invasive species to deal with and take very strategic remediation to get rid of. This leads me to the second issue that there's a lack of proper management practices. From what I've seen, the only management that gets done is just topping trees and plants when they block visibility to roadways and skyline views. These plants will just grow back the following year, even more dense and spread further because they're not properly dealt with. Lastly is trash. There's just so much trash on the lower Palisade Cliffs. It is not an area that can be easily cleaned, but it's very easy for trash to pile up there through dumping that occurs and encampments that crop up on the cliffs. Um, Here's an image I took in 2021 of right after they topped some trees beneath Riverview Park. This was like 2 days before the 4th of July, so they definitely just did this so people could view the fireworks, which is a noble cause. But this was a pretty devastating, it had pretty devastating impact on the local ecosystem. I
Question, Jason.
Sure.
Do we know who topped those trees?
Oh, I no. Probably NG Gilbert is the contractor they use for like roadside tree toppings. So I'm assuming that
So
that's
you
who
don't
did it.
know if Division of Forestry looked at them
No,
before before they were topped and everything?
no. I don't have any of that
Okay.
information. I only saw the aftermath.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because there's new forestry standards, as you are aware, and anything involving trees has to be looked at by Mike first. So I'm wondering if Mike was aware of this or if Mike was even around in 2021 to see that this was happening.
I don't think he was the forester back then.
Okay.
Um,
All right, so then that answers my question.
yeah.
Is this even Jersey City jurisdiction? Where, because I know it gets into like a weird gray area because the light rail area is owned by the state, I think, or NJ Transit. And then I
Yeah.
think
Yeah, yeah, it
the
is owned by
road is
Jersey
a,
Transit, but if these trees were in the property of Riverview Fist Park, and Riverview Fist Park, as far as I know, is part of City of Jersey City, and they take care of that land. It's anything that happens on I mean, nowadays, anything that happens with trees, whether it's street trees or even public park trees or anything of that, the Division of Forestry needs to be alerted to it. So I'm just wondering if, and it could go back to your station in a second, that if Division of Forestry was alerted to this back in 2021 before this happened, and that if anything, whoever approved of this, if there's any restitution that we could get, as well as possibly of replanting trees there. That's my question.
Yeah, it'd be nice. I don't. I mean, I this information I gathered just from being a person walking around in the park. So yeah, I don't know who executed this, like who did it. So yeah, but
Yeah.
it'd be cool if we could like follow through with this and get like restitution money that
Yeah.
retroactively if that's possible.
Because it's like
Here,
if the city of Jersey City, now granted, I don't remember, I don't know what the forestry standards were back in 2021, but if the city of Jersey City didn't authorize this, then restitution should be paid.
I'm I'm assuming the city like authorized it, but it, yeah. Here, I'll show you where this is so this was taken, I was standing, this is Riverview Park. I was standing right here. This is Bowers Street. Um, and the area in the picture is all in here.
So it's
Um,
it is part of Riverfest Park, not part of the light rail.
yes. So I've been studying these tax maps a lot. This area here is one lot, all up to, this is Patterson Plank Road here. So actually this wooded area here is technically part of Riverview Park. It's parkland. The trees on the other side of Riverview Park, or I'm sorry, of Patterson Plank Road by the light rail tracks is owned by NJ Transit.
Right.
All of this. Yeah.
Okay. All right. We'll figure that out. Back to presentation.
No, thanks. Yeah. Please, anyone jump in if they want to say something. Um, yeah. So I mean, just from what I observed when this was done, it was very devastating. Decrease in bats and an increase in mosquitoes in the park that year. Now, 5 years later, the trees that they topped have now grown back, and this destructive process, oh well, maybe it won't occur again. I guess I was being pessimistic that I thought it would just happen again, but instead, what we should be doing is doing proper remediation of removing these invasive trees and replacing them with the low-growing native trees that wouldn't obstruct the view anymore, which is going to be a larger upfront investment, but likely more cost-effective in the long run to not have to do these types of tree toppings where they have to probably close off the road and bring heavy trucks in to do that. Here's a picture of what the some of the trash along the cliff is. This is like a very narrow ridge along Holland Street. If you know where that is, it's right by the Riverview Park. Um, it would be very dangerous to try to clean up this trash. And the city, like this area along the cliff, some of it's owned by the county, some of it's owned by the city, some of it's owned by NJ Transit. They, from what I've seen, they don't have they're not equipped to do this type of advanced tree removal. Um, Encampments will crop up and hidden in the trees. Sometimes they get kicked out and have the trash removed, but from what I've seen, they usually just come back the next year. So it's just like a constant reoccurring problem with just like the topping, just a quick fix to work on it, and then it just comes back again. Um, and just one thing to note, I don't know. I mean, I don't know if anyone takes the bus up from Hoboken, but this is what you see when you come back home, which is or just if you're visiting the area for the first time, which in my opinion is not a good look. And I just personally uh hope we could do better than this to make the area we live in a little nicer. So I'll get into the proposed solutions I have. The first is start small. That like I said, there's like 400 acres of land this could potentially grow to, but that's and they're owned that land is owned by many different people, starting with city-owned land in a park, like right under Riverview Park seems like the easiest path forward to me. Um, addressing stuff like homelessness around the park should be dealt with by organizations that specialize in this type of work, like the Garden State Community Development Corporation. Um, Trash removal will be very difficult, but not impossible. I've found case studies of other cities where rock climbing techniques have been utilized for trash removal on urban cliffs, similar to this. And for habitat restoration, there are businesses that specialize in this type of work in New Jersey, such as the Invasive Species Strike Team. Um, and there needs to be a long-term plan for management as well, not just like a one and done approach like it's been happening in the past, where just the trash just builds up again and the invasive plants grow back again. Need to think more long term. So what I'm thinking is, we need to get organized first. This project needs some sort of like master plan that lays out the roadmap for the initial work needed and the reoccurring maintenance That includes timelines and budgets. We'll need to collaborate with local stakeholders such as politicians and community organizations. I've already, been working on this. I've been in contact with the current Ward D Councilman Jake Efros and the Friends of Riverview Park Community Group, giving them, getting them up to speed on basically the stuff I've been presenting today. Um, the work that will need to be done will need funding. So that's a lot of work to find funding for these types of projects. Uh, there's great organizations in our area that already do this type of work, such as PRISM, which is the Lower Hudson Partnership for Regional Invasive Species Management. That's a long name, but yeah, that's probably the most relevant organization. Where Jersey City is a little bit out of their domain, but they're very close by. Um, there's also the New York Restoration Project, which has had very successful habitat restoration in the Highbridge Park area of Upper Manhattan. If anyone gets a chance to check it out, I highly recommend it. It's the closest type of environment I found to the Lower Palisade Cliffs, and it's like a great example of what they could become. Lastly, we should look into what's already out there. There's been an act in limbo, New Jersey, since 2020 called the Palisades Cliffs Protection and Planning Act. It's been submitted 4 times since 2020 and has not been approved.
Do you know
Um,
do you know who the sponsor is of that?
yes, it's Stack. It used to be Stack and Sacco, but the last time they submitted it, Sacco took his name off the bill.
So as of right now, it's Brian Stack.
Yeah, and I think it already got withdrawn for the next like round of voting. So I don't even think
Okay.
it's on the table right now. Um, from what it's very short. If you've read it, there's not much in there.
Have you been in touch with Raj Mukherjee?
I don't know who that is.
He's a senator.
Oh, okay.
He's a senator actually for he's the senator for District 32. So um he works like you have Senator Raj Mukherjee, then you have our two new assembly people, which is Katie Brennan and Ravi Bala. And
I know them. Yeah. Okay.
where they where the district is in terms of them, would they definitely uh would speak about this as long as it says as in terms of your slides, as long as it says it needs updated language for environmental management. So if Brian Stack submitted it and it was withdrawn, maybe we can take that to Raj Mukherjee as well as Katie and Ravi and be like, hey, is there any possible way that this could be reintroduced with updated language? And if there's a possible way that if we update it, like, can we work together in terms of updating it and get this reintroduced?
Yeah. Okay. Um,
I
oh,
just
thanks
found
for
a
the
link.
suggestion.
It looks like it's already been pre-filed for introduction in the 2026 session by Assemblyman Gabriel Rodriguez,
Oh,
which is District 30. I just put the link in the chat.
Yeah, I see it.
District 33.
But there's a
Where
whole
does
big
that?
thing. There's a whole big thing that says withdrawn.
yeah. This is what I saw. I saw the big withdrawn, so I figured it wasn't going in. And I didn't see it with this name on there either. I saw it with Stack on here.
So it looks like Stack took himself off regardless. So it looks like Stack took himself out of it because that's what he does. And now it looks like it's being sponsored by this person, Gabriel Rodriguez, who is District 33.
Yeah, where is District 33?
Okay, so that means Senator Stack would be
Okay, so yeah, North Bergen, Secaucus, Union City, Weehawken, West New York. So just north of us.
yeah. So someone needs to talk to Raj Mukherjee.
Okay, yeah. So
Yeah,
that is Stack.
yeah,
So Stack is the senator, and then Rodriguez and Larry Weinstein are the assembly members.
yes.
Yeah.
So yeah, Raj Mukherjee. Let me see. Raj Mukherjee, Senator Raj. Yeah, Raj Mukherjee. Let's see. Yeah, Raj Mukherjee, who has represented the 32nd legislative district in the New Jersey Senate since 2024.
Yeah, he's our representative in the
Yes.
Heights at least.
So if we can get him on board, as well as Katie Brennan and Ravi Bala to sort of co-sign it with the updated language and everything, we could possibly have it be reintroduced.
Okay. Yeah, that's I'd definitely like to work on this. And yeah, if anyone, if you guys want to help too, that's kind of this is the end of my presentation, by the way. I was just going to end it with like, I just wanted to bring this stuff up with like awareness to the issues I've observed, and I think they usually go overlooked, and make a call to action, and see if anyone in the environmental commission can assist on this project, or whether it be like guidance on how to proceed, which you guys already are, thank you, or helping organize more advocates for this cause, because yeah, this is a project I want to start getting more serious and working on in the future. That's it. That's my presentation.
Thanks, Jason. Yeah, so I have a couple immediate thoughts, and I apologize for missing the beginning of it. Um, so one immediate thought is something that's always piqued my interest in the New Jersey law that requires environmental commissions. It allows for the formation of regional environmental commissions. And I've always thought that this area, especially, um, is tailor-made for more of a regional environmental commission that would encompass like Bayonne, Jersey City, Hoboken, North Bergen, just like this area, because all of the issues are quite similar, and we all kind of rip our hair out trying to resolve these issues that extend beyond city borders. So something like this that would encompass multiple municipalities in the same general region, that could potentially be a springboard for forming some sort of more regional environmental commission that could then theoretically have more bandwidth, more resources, and more sway when it comes to these types of things. Um,
I do know that that Bergen County, I don't know if Bergen County itself has an environmental commission, but I know Ridgeville Park does, and Union City doesn't, North Bergen doesn't, West New York doesn't, so yes, it's the type of thing is that what we have with the environmental commission, it's not through all of Hudson County,
yeah,
not through the whole,
that's even more of a reason to combine resources.
yeah,
Um,
but so,
Obviously, that is a far larger project than
yes.
anything that we are able to take on in the near term. But that's just because I'm always curious how these issues that occur on borders of jurisdictions get resolved. Um, like for example, Washington Park, just to the north of us, is really a part of it is Jersey City, part of it is Union City, part of it is Hudson County, and then you kind of run into these kind of like finger pointings. Oh, this isn't me, this is you, this isn't me, this is you. Or same thing with like snow removal on these roads that like kind of border jurisdictions. They're always the last to get done. I'm assuming because each municipality is just like, oh, it's not us. We don't have to do it, it's you. And then it just kind of gets put off. And so this whole Palisades Cliff area is strikes me as very similar of a
Yeah.
challenge. Is like trying to get some municipality to kind of carry the burden of it when the costs might outweigh the short-term rewards is
S-
more of a challenge.
So, what's in the act right now kind of has a solution to that. It's called this Palisade Protecting and Planning Council, and the
Mhm.
idea they're proposing is 10 voting members, all from the relevant municipalities where these lower Palisade Cliff area exists. Um, so yeah, that I mean, I th this kind of sounds like what you were saying, like a regional environmental commission, like
Yeah.
they just have something. Um, yeah, they
Question,
just go.
question. Do we know the municipalities that have the Palisades Cliffs besides Jersey City?
Oh yeah, yeah. Um, Here, let me show you a map I made. Uh, so this is something I handmade with Google My Maps. This is how I got like a an inventory of how many acres there are. So it goes if you look on, it's easier to see on satellite view.
Put it this way, does it extend all the way up to Ridgefield Park?
There's Ridgefield Park.
Ridgefield Park is right around Cliffside Park.
So like
Yeah,
right here,
yeah, it
it's
looks
not
like it
on the
does.
map. There's Cliffside Park. Ridgefield's right there. Yeah, I mean that's like so basically the conservation that happens right now ends like right here.
No,
This is like
no, the reason why I'm asking if it extends all the way up to, if the Palisade Cliffs extends all the way up to Ridgefield Park, I have a friend who's on the Ridgefield Park Environmental Commission. I can talk to her as well. I could talk to her to basically bring this issue to the Ridgefield Park Environmental Commission and say, by the way, the Jersey Environmental Commission is looking to restore, is looking to restore their Palisade Cliffs or their
I
part of Palisade Cliffs. Um, we were
yeah, I don't think
wondering.
it's part of it.
Mhm.
It's a little more west of the cliffs. It's here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, then never
Uh,
mind then.
yeah, it's really I think this is it starts in Fort Lee and then just goes Edgewater, Cliffside Park, Guttenberg, North Bergen. I mean, it's basically it's what's here. These are the towns.
Okay.
Yeah, it's an interesting conundrum. Um,
Well, what do you think of my idea to just start at Riverview Park? You know, I figured that's just like a more obtainable goal, like in the relatively short term to start with.
yeah, I mean, I love the argument that hey, people taking the bus off from Hoboken get a view of all this trash and riffraff along this area. Why not instead make it as a selling point of entering Jersey City? So like that's a interesting way to kind of sell the idea. Um, I
Yeah, I
always
mean,
wonder. So
I think it would make like bird watching a lot better too. I think that's like the biggest one of the bigger like another big thing like a sell for this. Um, I mean, it's really hard to get into the cliffs itself. Obviously, it's like pretty much like illegal to do right now, but theoretically in the future there could be like some trails through there or something. But
Mhm.
right now you can see in those cliffs pretty well. I mean, there's a lot of roads and through the park. Like there's already birding groups that go through those areas. Um,
yeah, there's a lot of random roads. There's that one area that has like a bunch of murals, right?
yeah, you're talking
Um,
about New York Ave. Yep, that's another.
Hmm.
That I see tons of bats. Like if you walk that road at night, you'll see tons of bats flying around
Yeah,
there.
that's the road that leads to Ogden Avenue.
Right.
Uh, not here. That is
The one with all the murals is by the 100 steps.
the mural. So this is Supremo right here. Let me turn the labels back on.
You're not sharing anymore,
Oh, I'm not.
Jason.
Oh, sorry. Let me share. Share. Yeah,
Yeah.
this road, New York. Is this what you're talking about? The
There's a road that if you go along Mountain Road.
Oh,
Yeah,
this one, yeah.
yeah, no. See, this is the hip hop tunnel is going. The hip hop tunnel is going toward, is going toward Hoboken. But there's a road that if you're coming from the viaduct, let's say you go down the viaduct from from Patterson Plank Road, and you make the left as opposed to the right on Patterson Plank. So you're going left on Patterson Plank Road. If you keep going that way, there past the 100 steps, there's an entrance for cars that you can go up. It's a one way that you can go up on the road driving, and it leaves you at the end. It leaves you on Ogden Avenue.
Hmm.
So on Ogden Avenue, there's an entrance that if pedestrians as well as bicyclists they can go down.
Yes, Ogden and Franklin.
They could go down this road, but if cars want to use it, cars can only go up.
One way up.
Pedestrians and
You're talking about this,
cyclists
right?
can go down.
Like where the 100 steps are? Is that what you're
Yes,
this round?
yes,
Okay, yeah, yeah, yeah.
yes,
There's another
Yeah.
great. I mean,
The 100 steps.
tons of tree of heaven here and
yeah.
knotweed,
Just
but
north
yeah,
of-
it's a very like
just
wooded
north of the
area.
corner of Ogden.
There's a lot of someone's doing like guerrilla gardening on this lawn too. I don't know who it is.
Yeah. I also love to find groundhogs there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but no,
Um,
but that road that pedestrians and cyclists use to go down, that could be a perfect road for a trail. That could be for both pedestrians and cyclists can go up and down, but unfortunately, you would have to take the road away from drivers, and you know how that argument is going to go.
yeah.
It's
Yeah, and that's
Yeah.
not even what I was talking about. The murals I'm talking about is off of Patterson Plank, more up towards the Congress elevator. So it's maybe I don't know, maybe a quarter mile after you make the right going down Patterson Plank. There's a little driveway that hits, and then there's like murals. There's like a brown bear mural and a couple other murals, but like right off of Patterson Plank
Are you
going
talking about
down.
this road, Holland Street?
It's not a, it's, I don't know if it's a street or just a driveway. Um,
Is it the cobblestone one?
yeah, it's that.
Yeah, that's Holland Street. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay, Holland Street.
that's the one
This
that leads to
this
nowhere.
that's by Bauer
Yeah,
Street.
those murals.
yeah, there's a yeah, so this used to be a road people took. I think Henry's on the call. He's told me when he was a kid is
Yeah, that road is
he
now
would
closed.
take
Yes, when I
Yeah.
was a child, you could drive up that, and
Yep.
sometimes people would drop stuff on your car from the overpass above.
Yeah. Yeah, that road is now closed. See this road here from Holland Street? Essentially, this road is now closed because of that building that's there. But if you go toward the 100 steps, there's another road that you could go up along Patterson Plank Road.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a bunch of like random roads in there.
Yeah.
And you
yeah,
can
I
see like
mean,
old steps going up too, like going up the side of the
Yeah.
cliff.
so there's to get to the heights, there's Hoboken Ave on the southern end, then there's New York Ave here, then there's Mountain Road, then Patterson Plank Road, and then the last one is the viaduct here. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of roads that go, and yeah, I mean, this is all the area like I'm talking about here. It's like this
Yeah.
strip of woods here.
Yeah, I'm wondering if there's a way to tie it into cycling because I feel like there's been talk about doing something to turn Patterson Plank into more cycling friendly because it's so dangerous. It's definitely the best way to cycle down into Hoboken from the Heights,
There was talk, there
but
was
it's so
talk,
dangerous.
there was talk of turning Mountain Road, the road that I just described, to being just for pedestrians and cyclists. However, the drivers of the community will come out and basically be like, "No, we want that road."
Because
Yeah.
that road too.
I do think that area by the 100 steps, there's all these different points along the lower Palisades cliffs that you can kind of get close to them, like at the 100 steps, what Jason's describing along Riverview Fisk Park, and then there's other areas that you kind of have to go out of your way to get to, like that area with the murals that we were talking about. But there's all these little kind of access points. And yeah, the first two that come to mind for me for improvements, yeah, Jason, the Riverview Fisk Park area that you described seems like a logical place. But then by the 100 steps, like, I don't know if it would be necessary to cut off the road necessarily. There's, people are going over it. That's a pretty high traffic area, those 100 steps. People are going over it and through it on the steps and then around it in their cars and on foot. I mean, that could be another area to showcase and because right now it seems like you said, Jason, people are just doing guerrilla gardening, and that's how that area is being maintained. It does seem like something more formal could be done there to showcase what could be done on the cliffs.
Yeah, and that's another ideal land area to start with because that lot is owned by the city as well, the one where the 100 steps are on. So yeah, I mean, yeah, from what I've seen there, there's a lawn that gets mowed by the city like a few times a year. But yeah, it's mostly like tree of heaven and poison ivy, just like taking over most of it. Someone planted a butterfly bush in there though. Like I said, like there's some rogue guerrilla gardening happening in there.
Yep.
I'd like to share a comment, if I may.
Sure.
So, Chris Merrick, member of the public, amateur naturalist, and big fan of the Palisades for many years. This spring I found myself in Upper Manhattan, walking through one of the New York Restoration Project areas, and I was just amazed at how many flowers there were, the spring ephemerals in there, even under the tree canopy, and it was really a moment of awe in how impressive that is, and it's a similar biome to on our side of the river, and so I would recommend to anyone to visit that, particularly in the spring. I think it's somewhat less once the tree canopy comes in, just as an example of what the place could look like if it was properly managed.
Yeah, are you talking about Highbridge? Because that was what I
I
was
have to
thinking.
look up where I was. Honestly, I wanted to walk on this side of the river, but I took a wrong turn and ended up on the other side of the river, and it was just a spontaneous walk. So I'd have to look up where I was.
It sounds like you're talking about the cloisters.
So this is this is what I mentioned in my presentation. The New York Restoration Project manages this land here, the High Bridge Park, and it's very similar to the Palisades, where it's just like a steep cliffside that there hasn't been development on, but it's like dense urban area around there. And yeah, like when I don't know if you guys know about the New York Restoration Project. It was started by Bette Midler in like the 80s or 90s, and I think at the time it was just like a dumping ground. Like, and now I mean, they're really well funded. They have like staff, and I've cold emailed them, and they've done like a Zoom meeting with me. They're very supportive of this, like, helping people. But yeah, if you go here, uh, you'll see like I think this is where you were, Chris. Like there's tons of like flowers and newly planted trees along this area here on Amsterdam Ave.
I was actually on the I was on the Hudson River side, and there was a plaque describing the project. I may have mixed it up. I'll send it across when I find it.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah. There's Fort Tyrone and Inwood Hill. Those are nice areas too. And then yeah, like underneath the GW Bridge, it turns into like the uh, is that called like the West Side Park or something? I'm not sure.
Brandon,
Yes.
would it be beneficial for us to have the New York Restoration Project uh come to a environmental commission just to speak about their projects and loan us some information as well as their expertise
So I actually
with this
I
particular
invite
project?
I invited the guy I talked to from them here. He couldn't make it this time, but that could be a possibility. We could have them come as like a guest speaker in like like sometime in the future. I could try to make that happen.
Yeah. It would certainly be interesting to hear from them. But I think the thing that Jason said that reigns true is it was started by Bette Midler, somebody with money that they can put into something like this. And
Yeah.
ultimately, at the end of the day, that is the challenge. Projects like this need money and time, and both of which are in short supply when it comes to being funded through the government. So it's like, if I don't know, go find somebody that just became a random millionaire off of this SpaceX IPO and get them to donate a
I
bunch of money.
I think
That's
you can also start like hunting out grant opportunities and things as well. I mean, there are probably grants available for this type of project, and that could be worth exploring.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Amanda um has a stack or at least
Yeah,
some type of resource for grant opportunities.
yeah, and
And even so, you could possibly even
he
reach
as well.
out to, you can even possibly reach out to the historic preservation because the cliffs are an historic part of Jersey City. So I'm pretty sure that if we reached out to like Jersey Landmarks or Jersey Historic Preservation Conservancy or even the Jersey Parks Coalition, I'm sure that they would help in terms of finding grant money to restore this part of the cliffs in Riverview Fest Park.
Maybe,
Possible.
possibly.
I'm
I
being
think
optimistic.
coalition doesn't really have bandwidth to get into something like this, I would imagine. But I think you could, one thing you could do is try and put together a coalition of a few interested groups as well. And then, you know, apply through that.
yeah. Okay.
Worth exploring.
I mean, yeah, I really like Lorraine. I'd really love to hear your perspective from like a birder's perspective because I figured that was like the best avenue to advocate for this. Like, trying
Yeah,
to like soft landing for caterpillars. That's what I've heard. Like
yeah. I mean
you
that.
introduce plants
Yeah,
to get more caterpillars, and then you'll get more birds as a result.
yeah. For sure. I think also just in terms of general healthier ecosystem and restoring the tree canopy and all of that stuff too. But I think there are probably grant grant opportunities that we could look for this. I mean, it's a fantastic opportunity.
Okay, yeah. I'll just have to get some. I don't really know. I mean, yeah, I'm not an expert on grants, so I definitely need
No,
some help, like to get the
yeah,
names of the ones to apply for and when the when to submit them and stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We can like reach out to a few people and see if there's any ideas. The DEP also is a good like resource for grants. I can put you in in touch with somebody there who would perhaps have ideas.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I don't know anyone in the DEP.
I wonder if it might be helpful to maybe advocate for particular roles within the city, such as maybe like a horticulturalist or like a gardener that can be viewed as civil servants of the city so that they are able to do this kind of work. I do definitely think that it's something that the city needs, especially with the green spaces that we have. We need folks that are skilled and dedicated to improving the natural areas of Jersey City. And I wonder if that might be a help
The
to see if
only
the city can do something like that.
the only person that I could think of off the top of my head that remotely does what you just described, Carlos, is Dawn Giambalvo.
I think
That's
she's
the
a great
yeah,
resource,
that
and
that's the only name that I think of because
yeah,
she is the I guess the lead director, if you want to put it that way, of Reservoir Number Three.
correct. Yeah.
So, so Jason, I would potentially reach out to her, to Angie and Bavo, to see if she has expertise in terms of, and I'm pretty sure she does, in terms of like grant writing and grant opportunities and things, things of that nature.
Yeah, no, I know her pretty well, and
Yeah.
I've been keeping her in the loop with this project too. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Right. Okay.
I'll keep talking with her. Yeah, and I know, like what she's doing a lot of work at the reservoir
Yeah.
right now, which is like a similar project to this, but I think it's probably going to go a lot easier because it's already a park and
Mm.
the wheels are already in motion to make it better. That's like the reason I wanted to work on this one, the Palisade one, is I don't really see anything happening there, and I
Mhm.
just see it like deteriorating with no plan moving forward. So that's why I picked this one in particular. And I'm not planning on moving anytime soon, so it's something I want to just, keep working on for years to come to try to make it better.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a great project, anything that helps the city elevate its value in green space, I think is a worthy undertaking.
Hmm. Yeah, for sure. I mean, there are also some grants that the Native Plant Society of New Jersey does. They actually just completed this year's applications, but you could apply for next year. There's usually a few conservation grants, and those are small, but you could build up a few of those types of like things as well. um and it's possible you might find someone there who's kind of interested in helping to take this on as a project. I mean, I would be interested if I felt I had the right expertise for this. I think it's a little bit beyond my scope, but I would be really interested in helping.
Yeah,
Same,
okay.
same here.
Cool. Well, yeah, I mean, I gave I gave a little spiel at the Riverview Park when the Friends of Riverview were doing
Yeah.
a cleanup one day. And yeah, people were asking me like, where do I sign up like an
Mm.
email list or something. So I can at least get that going and then, send out updates as they come in or something like that to people who are interested in um, staying in the loop of
Mhm.
if anything's happening on this front.
Have you given this similar presentation to the Riverview Neighborhood Association?
No, no, I haven't. Yeah,
That might be your
be a
next
good
step.
spot. Yeah, it'd
You
probably be a
know,
good one to do it in, like at one of their
who's the
meetings.
president of RNA now?
I'm not sure.
Because I think it was Brendan at one point. And I
Yeah,
think Mo was at one another point, but I don't know who the president of RNA is yet. But if I find out that information, I could definitely find that out.
yeah. I mean, my contacts there, the Perry, who was on this call, I think she
Mhm.
dropped, and Roger Heitman, who's on the Parks Commission for the city. He's like a
Oh, the
very
Parks Coalition, yeah.
yeah, coalition. Yeah, I mean, he's always at Riverview Park, and yeah, he's a great
Yeah.
like resource for this type of stuff because he's lived here his whole life, and
Yeah.
he's like retired now.
Was it, well, Perry is Friends of Riverview, which I
Yeah.
think is separate from the Riverview Neighborhood Association.
They're pretty. It's pretty. I think it's like part of it. Or
Yeah,
I know they're yeah, like RNA. Yeah, it's not like Friends of Riverview is strictly just about like cleanups in the park and gardening in the park.
right,
RNA kind of encompasses like the neighborhood area around and gets into more like beyond gardening stuff also.
right. What I was saying is that I think if RNA had a meeting, when
Yeah,
RNA has
people
their
would be
next,
interested.
right,
Yeah.
if
Yeah.
when RNA has their next general membership meeting, see if they like, oh, by the way, can I present this, and and go from
Yeah.
there to
No,
try to yeah,
I agree. I should just keep like what this presentation I gave, I should keep giving to other groups too.
yeah.
I am planning on doing that. Yeah.
It might be worthwhile to maybe speak with the Department of Community Development um because we in sustainability we have a grant uh called the Community Development Block Grant, which we are using to plant trees within low to moderate income communities. And that was a pretty significant amount of funding. So I'm hoping maybe a project like this would be something that they can help you with.
Okay, yeah. You said it's the Garden State Department of Community Development?
No,
No, okay.
the community Jersey City Community Development
Okay.
Department.
Okay, thanks. It's a city department.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, we don't have to spend the whole meeting on this if we want to move on to something else. Thank you for all the engagement and ideas. I wrote them down, so I'm gonna follow up on them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.